Welcome to What's Up, Bolts. I'm Fernando Ramirez. That's cowboy hat wearing, sunglass donning son of a gun is Dan and Dago. Obviously, yesterday or Wednesday, we reviewed the press conference of Charger. I hope that's not whiskey. We reviewed.
Well, the way things are going, it might as well be. The other day on the last episode, I talked about Mass Day and all that stuff. You know what I was thinking about in Mass when we had, the little moment after getting the body of Christ to pray the Eucharist. I was like, dear God, please guide these people. They need help, dude. Get me just one. All I need is one, dude. I'm not selfish anymore, God. I'm humble. My humility, it's here. All I need is one. I don't need 20 years like the Patriots. I just need one.
Hey, but once you get one, you're
It's
gonna want
over.
more and more and
It's
more.
over. Yeah, that's right. That's right. But I don't even have one to lean back on. The Raiders fans, I guess some of them lived to at least see their team win Super Bowls. I'm still waiting.
So obviously we spoke on Wednesday about the press conference of Chargers head coach Brandon Staley, and Thursday it was about Tom Telesco's end of the season press conference. Obviously we spoke to him for about 40 minutes. He went in depth, it was a pretty typical Tom Telesco press conference where you went anywhere from Justin Herbert, his contract extension, to Brandon Staley's job or the team in general. So there was a lot of avenues we went. We'll right here we're gonna break it all down for you guys, and obviously just to give you guys a little insight into the Chargers season. Obviously, Tom said they weren't happy with the way things ended. That they just felt like there's a bad taste in their mouth. He said we're gonna lick our wounds for a little bit and then get back to work. And obviously they have free agency coming up. Then you have the draft. They're going to be, and that's the thing. Tom does have his guys already studying for the draft, getting ready. They have the 21st overall pick. And then in this episode, also at the end, we're going to go over the Chargers schedule came out. Their opponents have been finalized. I don't think Dan and Dago has seen it. I'm going to surprise them with it. I know he doesn't like. Do you like surprises, Dan?
I hate them. I get too many surprises like last Saturday. I hate them.
Look at him. The way he's sitting, the way everything, it just looks like he's given up. And I don't need
it
that.
looks like I'm at a funeral right now. I'm not talking about sports. It's just,
So
you know what, Brown? It's just hard. Like it's like we talked about last time. When you give a fan base like this that has had so many struggles, so many defeats, who likes to be the laughing stock of the league? Nobody. And it's like you get that little glimmer of hope, and it was taken. And unfortunately, that's sometimes what happens in life. That's how people react too. They're either going to react like, oh, you know what? It is what it is. Got to move forward. Or they're going to be pissed and they're going to let their emotions be felt and known. So that's how I am right now. I'm still just in disbelief, but it is what it is.
Let's start off with the first question. The obvious was Brandon Staley's job on the line? Did they consider firing him? Here's what Tom Telesco had to say.
Was his job ever at stake?
No, I mean, that was probably more your discussion than ours. The front office belief in Brandon hasn't changed. It's got our belief. Our players believe in him. I mean, you've been around him. He's a tremendous leader. He's detail-oriented, and he's a fighter. And, that's the type of people that I want to be with me, like going into competition. So understand the season didn't end quite the way we liked it. But no, he's got our full support.
So obviously, Tom says there that that Brandon has their full support, and obviously, Tom and Brandon are tied at this point to the hip together. So if one of them had to go, I'm sure both of them would be. I wouldn't be surprised if one got let go and the other one stayed. So at this point, I think they're both tied to the hip, which I mean is necessarily not a good thing, not a bad thing. I mean it just means that they're intertwined. This is Tom Telesco's third head coach that he that's under his regime. So obviously, it's interesting to see the way that goes. But obviously, Dan, it seems like the player. I mean, and we spoke to the players during the week. I know some fans are not happy that the players said what they said, but I mean, who's gonna know more than the players that are in the building with him? And so I mean, I guess my thing is that obviously, I mean, people are going to discount what Tom says and what the ownership says and everything. I think it's more, what do the players believe, and the players are really the ones that are there. And I think players would give it to you the way, like, some players will give it to you like it is. Joey Bosa is one of them. Joey Bosa said that he's actually grown to really like his coaches, that he believes in them. Joey was even surprised that I remember he said this earlier in the week, that he was surprised that Brandon picked up his helmet twice. He had thrown it on the ground, and then he had picked it up, and then he was like, and then I go again and I throw it and he picks it up for me. Like, he's like, I behaved terribly, and look at my head coach picking up like, who does that? Like, who else would pick up the helmet for their player? Like, he's like, oh, and so obviously he was giving him credit and everything. But it sounds like the front office, everybody's united that they want Brandon back, and that's why Brandon is back. I'm sure is because the franchise, the ownership likes him. They feel like he and that's the thing too. You have to believe in somebody's vision, and I guess they believe in Brandon's vision. They believe in what he's building with this team. So obviously they're going to move forward with him. But what are your thoughts?
It's one of those things, Frown, right? It's like you talk about, a lot of people don't see the process. Very similarly, everybody loves hot dogs, sausages, and all these other things. But if you saw how some of this stuff was made, maybe you'd cringe a little bit and not be into it. You know what I mean?
Why must you do this?
Well, it's a statement of fact. It's a statement of fact, and similar to
You
this,
could
right?
have said people don't want to know how the sausage is made.
What it is. It's a statement of fact. Take it, do with it what you will. Take it for what it's worth. But that's what I think we're witnessing here is like they don't get to see the process and they only see the outcome. Well, the outcome wasn't very good. So everybody questions the process now on how you're getting to this outcome, because it's like we talked about all season. If your offense, you'd like to say it's high powered and everything else with the son of Odin, god of lightning, the right arm they call the gun, a cannon, freaking unbelievable. Might as well be Hercules out here. Anybody you want.
Jeez.
You have obviously you had some injuries and other things like that, but you have key players on there and you can't score points more than a field goal. How long was that stretch? Like, it was like a 5 weeks or something like that. And especially in the second half of a playoff game, you can't score points. Obviously, people are going to think and start questioning the process there, at least offensively. And I think that was the biggest noisemaker was the offense, because this is the image that has stuck with me from last year to this year. The contrast. This is the image. Week 18 against the Raiders. I understand they lose against the Raiders, miss the playoffs. It is what it is. It's in the past. But the way you see that offense roar in the second half to make a comeback, that is the true potential of this offense. That is who we are in my mind as an offense. Who the Chargers are as an offense when they're firing on all cylinders.
It's funny. I still remember last year, some fans blamed Justin Herbert for that loss.
No,
and I remember I'm like, the kid made 8 out of 9 on 4th down, and you guys are gonna blame Justin. And that's the problem, is that I think the fan base is so divided, or not divided, but they're
it is like 100%.
Well, no, but some people blame ownership, some people blame Tom Telesco, some people blame Brandon Staley. There's a slim few who blame Justin Herbert, or I've seen a couple that blame Justin, but I mean, I'm not saying it's a lot. I'm just saying, I have seen a comment or two, but I mean, you just don't know if they're bots or what they are, because that
to me is so silly, because it's like, okay, are these the same people who would never blame Phillip Rivers, even though he had so many turnovers in games? Like,
your favorite quarterback of all time.
You can't pick and choose. In my mind, Justin Herbert played clean.
He loves Felipe Rios.
Did take it, save it, keep it. Did he sometimes take shots when I thought he should have maybe taken a check down?
That says "I heart Phillip Rivers."
Buy it. I need a doormat anyway. And it's like, that's my thing, right? Does he sometimes, with his decision making, do things I wish he wouldn't? Of course. But I think overall, this is probably one of the best quarterbacks in franchise history you're going to have. Can you get him now? The Tyrell Williams, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, that type of set. Can you get him the freaking, who did Dan Fouts have? Charlie Joyner, Kellen Winslow,
and he
had another one,
Jefferson.
Jefferson. Yeah. Can you
Yeah.
get him that type of duo? And that's what's been missing since he's been here. And the other thing that's a problem too, and I know I'm going to take flack for this, and it's fine. You're already on your third offensive coordinator since he's been here, I think, or your fourth.
No,
He's
this is
had
the third.
Okay, so there you go. Thank you. He's had no continuity in college, still put up numbers. He's had no continuity in the NFL, even had key players miss, and he was still a top 5, Frau. Still a top 5 quarterback. What are we even talking about?
But it's crazy because if you think about it, Joe Lombardi's been through this before where the first year his offense was good. And the second year his offense took a dip. Same thing happened this year. The Chargers offense took a dip. I know people will say, oh, well, Justin Herbert he was second in passing yards. Yeah, but in touchdowns, he didn't reach 30. He was at 25.
Yeah.
25 to me is nothing near what it should have been. Like, he should be up in the 30s every single freaking year. It shouldn't be below. And I know Keenan Allen was hurt, and so was Mike Williams. But still, like, they should have had a lot more. And I know people will say, oh, well, Austin Eckler had 13 rushing touchdowns or 14. I can't remember what it was. Yeah, but at the same time, Justin should have 30 to 35 heck, even 30 to 40 touchdowns a year. And just because that's how good he is, that's how good this offense could be. And I mean, there's players out there that could there's things that could that definitely need a change on this team. But real quick, let's just go to Tom what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, and you know why it dipped? Because they couldn't score touchdowns in second halves. That's
okay. There you go. You're leading me into my thing. Here's what Tom Telesco had to say about the second half against Jacksonville. And listen to what he says. This is actually pretty interesting.
It always seems like whatever your weaknesses during the season are, they magnify in playoff games. It's the best versus the best, high stress, high pressure situations. And I agree with you. There were some things, like our run game throughout the season wasn't where it needed to be, showed up in the second half. There's a lot of things that kind of went down that path. We gave up that long touchdown in the second half. We gave up a lot of explosive plays during the season. So yeah, there were some things that showed up, but again, like I said, you play 17 games, you can kind of see where your strengths and weaknesses are. You get in the playoff, you're trying to minimize some of those, but sometimes they crop up like they did against Jacksonville.
So obviously, Tom there, I mean, he said it. He's like, things catch up to you. So what caught up to them? And he didn't go into depth. They're not scoring in the third quarter and basically in the fourth quarter as well. That caught up to you. You couldn't score in the third quarter. You were able to move the ball, but at times it looked stagnant. Then in the fourth quarter, the same thing. You had one field goal, but then you missed another, which, I mean, that other field goal, I wouldn't have done anything. Jacksonville was either going to score a field goal or score a touchdown coming down. They weren't going to settle for anything else.
And that's my thing. I am still a firm believer, I would have gone for that. And I understand hindsight's 2020 and everything else, but just
which one?
The last one, instead of him missing that last field goal, I think he missed the last one, and that's when they came back and drove. But anyway, that last drive, or maybe he made it. It doesn't matter. That last drive where
he missed his last kick.
Oh, so that was the last one. They got it back in. Okay. Either way, that because I think it was a 4th and short anyway, or something like that. You're in the red zone. I would have gone for it. The way the momentum was swinging and going in that game, it was going to take, a lot to stop Jacksonville because you hadn't the whole second half. So it's like, it is what it is now, but
that's I mean, the problem too, I think the problem too for them was you had Keenan Allen was getting doubled. He was taken out. Gerald Everett was kind of hobbling at that point. No DeAndre Carter. It was Michael Bandy. It was Josh Palmer. It was just, I don't know. I guess I kind of understand why you don't do it. It's because you just didn't have the weapons. But at the same time, I mean, you could always do something creative but see, that's the thing too. They might have limped, but another thing is they might have limped into Kansas City and then just got blown out. Like, did you really want to? Because the Chargers lost a couple. Well,
what's worse? What's
the comeback? Yeah. The comeback is worse. Yeah, no, I get it.
It is what it is if you get blown out by Kansas City. But I think it was a 4th and 1. No. I don't remember. But the whole point is, it's the playoffs round. You're playing for your football life, as I tell the players. You're playing for your football life. why are you not going to empty the tank and just throw every single punch you can? That's my thing. I would have gone for it.
Well, yeah, no. I agree with you. I mean, you're not
But
going
it
to
is
find
what it is.
anybody
It's in
else
the
that.
past. Yeah.
Well, yeah. All right, now let's go to Tom Telesco, where he's asked by our compa Jeff Miller
Shout out.
about the run game.
Love you,
And
Jeff.
Well, we're going to probably have a new vision and approach on offense. That's one way to go at it. We'll always be a passing team. We have Justin Herbert. We like to throw the ball. We're never going to be a 50-50 balanced team of run and pass. But you do have to be able to run the football efficiently and effectively, especially in the second half of games where you have leads. We were unable to do that this year. If you look at where our rushing numbers will be, like I said, they're never going to be high rushing numbers as far as terms of yards. But yards per carry should be better. Like 2 years ago, our yards per carry were pretty good, top 10 in the league. This year, almost towards the bottom. So obviously, that's a big thing. We're going to probably look in the offseason because that has to get better to be a good playoff team.
So clearly, Tom talks about the run game, and I mean, we've spoken about it. You can't. I think you're at the point now where you're kind of questioning what you have behind Austin Eckler, and to me, and I've said this before, I don't think Austin's an every down back. I think Austin, once they get into the 30-yard line, I think Austin's terrific.
Yep.
And in the passing game, Austin's terrific. Running the ball, he's good, but he's just not like he's just not an every down back that's supposed to take that kind of punishment. I mean, once you get into the 30, he has a nose for the end zone. He finds it. He knows how to get in there. So that's why he has 40 touchdowns in. That's why he has 40 touchdowns in the last 2 seasons, and he has a nose for the end zone. And I really do think that the Chargers need to find a back that can help them. I mean, either draft one or bring one in free agency, but they need more help. It's crazy to me, Dan, that we look at a team like Kansas City. They have Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Pacheco, and they don't stop there. Hey, let's bring in Jared McKinnon. And I think they already had McKinnon on the team, but McKinnon had more touchdown receptions than Tyreek Hill did this season. Like, why is it that Kansas City is like one of those teams that can, and the Patriots, Patriots kind of used to be the same way. Actually, no, they still are. It's Damian Harris and Stevenson. They just can't get in the playoffs, but they just can't get in the playoffs. But I mean, that's another thing. Obviously, but they use running backs, they rotate them, and you get the same kind of production almost from each kind of running back. That's exactly what Kansas City does. They get the same production almost from all three backs. The Chargers don't have that. They have Austin Eckler. There's a fat gap. Then it's Joshua Kelly. Then there's a humongous gap, and it's everybody else. I mean, and
even like that, they barely use Joshua Kelly. They'll give him a few reps.
I get that, but I mean, I still think Joshua Kelly's more of a complimentary back, he's not a 1B. Like Austin Eckler would be a 1A. You need a 1B. And that's kind of what and I don't know if Joshua Kelly's a 1B. I think he's a 2A. Like, that's not bad. Like, he's another back that he should be your Jared McKinnon or another back that you bring in. Like, and that's the thing. They need to go find somebody who's going to help them, who's going to take a bulk of, and that's the thing. Austin Eckler's been kind of asking for it. He's like, hey, bring somebody in here who can kind of take away some of the unnecessary carries that I don't need. And that's the thing. At the end of the game against Jacksonville, Dan, they tried running the football. They tried to run out the clock, but it just didn't work. You don't have a LaDainian Tomlinson back there who could make the clock bleed like no other. That's the problem. I'm sorry, but backs aren't built like LT anymore. They're not built like Jim Brown. They're not built like Barry Sanders. They're not built like Walter Payton, OJ, or Derrick Henry. He was a big back too, but I don't even want to mention him. Yeah, exactly. But they're just, you don't have big backs like that anymore. Derrick Henry is, but I'm saying, like, you need a running back that can just take the ball at the end. Oh, and by the way, Kansas City has Melvin Gordon on their practice squad.
That's right.
So there's that. But you need a big back that can take the blows and be able to how do I want to put this? You have to have a back that's gonna be able to go toe to toe with you, and or toe to toe with the defense and be able to bleed the clock. The Chargers don't have that. And I'm not saying you just need somebody to take the ball and run with it. No, passes, different things. Like even if it's just like an underneath pass, a running back that can take it 10, 15 yards. Who else does that? There's another team. Oh, well, the 49ers do that. The Cowboys did that a lot too. They had underneath. They have guys that can catch and are underneath.
Yep.
The Bucks also have that because of Tom Brady.
Yep.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is that they need more from the running back game and the running unit as a whole. And I think if they could, and I think this is what Tom said later in the press conference, they want to be a 60-40 team. Because being 50-50 is just in my I see it too. And I know you don't like that because you're a hog guy. You like running the football and everything, but I think as long as they're a 60-40 team, that's perfect. That's a good balance that you can have. I know you don't like to hear that, but I just don't, I honestly, I'm with him. I think 50-50 is unrealistic, especially because of the way the league is now. You're trigger happy, and obviously you have the quarterback to be able to go back there. And I know you're going to say, well, you preserve them with running the football. But, I mean, hell, if you don't have the running backs, what else is there to do? So I think that's why they use them so much. But the floor is now yours.
Well, that's the thing. First, let me say something, and then I'll answer or I'll respond to your statement. I just personally don't like the way he kind of phrased that, because in my mind, it's like, oh, no, it's a throwing league. Like, oh, no, we're not going to be 50-50. Like, in that mind, you're just kind of like shucking it to the side in my point of view. And it's like, my thing is, if the league is a passing league, why wouldn't you do something else to give them a different look? Like, you have to think outside the box now, in my mind. Nick Saban, I think, against Tennessee this year when they lost to Tennessee, a lot of his players came off the field complaining or saying something that they don't understand how to, line up defensively or defend against fullbacks. Fullbacks are you don't see a lot of them anymore. All you can name is literally Juszczyk and probably Ricard out of Baltimore. And it's like, I'm not saying 50-50 in the sense of like, first down pass. Okay. Second down run, third down pass. And then, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like there's a cycle to it or whatever. It's whatever's productive at the time. And you're going to ride the hot hand or whatever it is. But like, in my mind, if I'm a defensive coordinator playing the Chargers that week, I am putting two safeties deep. I am having, deep coverage with aggressive corners to try and jump those, those short routes and everything else. And I'm going to let them check it down the field if they can. If not, they can't do it. And I think that's what you saw a lot of this year, that they would kind of bait him into the run game, just like they did to Aaron Rodgers not too long ago. They would, except they had a more successful run game. I would just bait them into the run game or checkdowns, and that's what's going to happen, because they don't respect the run game, period. Like, if you're a linebacker, seriously, and you see Justin Herbert do this, like he's faking a handoff, you're not going to respect the run game. You're not going to run up. You're not going to run up until he gives it. And that's what I think the big key to the problem that was this season. That's what the problem was this season. That's what happens. And it's like, I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you have Justin Herbert throwing for 40, 50, people don't understand hyperbole, like 30, 40, 50 times a game, that's not winning football. That's not winning football, because then you become so one-dimensional and dependent on this guy. You might run him in the ground also. So it's like, that's my thing. Now, to your thing, what was it again about it's unreal? Well, whatever it is, you have to think outside the box. Running the football and being, physical, that wears out defenses, like it or not. The whole point of playing this sport, especially at the professional level, is to win games. It's not like you don't have to be super entertaining. Like, that's what people forget. The entertainment comes from winning games. Everybody wants to support a winner and a champion. And it's like, it doesn't matter if it's ugly. If people don't like you running the football, was that a soundbite or?
No.
Oh, my bad. It doesn't matter if people don't like you running the football a lot, if it's working. It is what it is if you're winning games. And I think that's the biggest problem that sometimes, the Chargers face, not trying to think outside the box. So, and that was the other thing. Yeah. Kansas City thinks outside the box. When the league zigs, they zag.
That's Andy Reid.
Exactly, because he's always trying to innovate, and that's the problem. People don't want to innovate because they say, "Oh, it's a passing league." Well, is it somewhere in your contract where you have to pass? Like, I don't understand why you're forcing the passes. And it's like, you saw that a lot this year. They couldn't even run the football between the 5-yard line. They were still passing, and it's like that to me is a big problem, and that's not gonna sustain success.
Well, speaking of that, here's speaking of Justin Herbert and the passing game. Here, Tom Telesco was asked about a contract extension for Justin Herbert, and here is what he had to respond when somebody asked him about the contract extension for Justin Herbert.
I haven't even really thought about any contracts right now with anybody, but obviously we want him here a long time.
So that'd be fair to say that you and Justin's representation haven't made contact about an extension.
We haven't talked to anybody about any contract. We just season just ended. Yeah.
So obviously that's kind of the elephant in the. Oh, I put Brandon Staley. Whoops, it was Tom Telesco. I apologize for that one. He obviously it was obviously it that's the elephant in the room. Justin Herbert is now eligible for a contract extension. I mean, I guess Tom right now, obviously the season just got done, so obviously they're not thinking about that. But I'm wondering to see what the Chargers are planning on doing. Are they going to wait another? Would they consider waiting one more year? Or is Justin Herbert's team considering waiting one more year, letting this kind of play out, see how this season plays out, and then maybe moving and trying to see if they can get a contract extension done next offseason or what it is? But this is an interesting. It's going to be interesting. I mean, we're kind of at that point now where Justin's owed big money. It'll be interesting to see what he decides to take. People have always asked me what the kind of guy that Justin is. I mean, he's one of those guys that if they told me, oh, he took the max amount, I'd be like, yeah, no, I believe it. That's what he deserves. But I also could be like, if somebody told me, oh, he got an extension, but he took a pay cut to help improve the team with that money, I could see that too. I mean, that's just the kind of guy that Justin is that I just believe he's a team first guy, and he's a good guy. So obviously, I wouldn't be surprised with what he did, but it's going to be interesting to see when Telesco and Herbert's representation sit down and start talking over the contract. I'm interested to see what those numbers are going to look like. So yeah, I just interesting times.
Yeah, we can all think, the Cleveland Browns and some of these stooges just completely messing up the market. So, because let me tell you something, I said this last time. He's way better than Kyler Murray, better than Deshaun Watson, better than Dak, better than Derek. I don't know who else, but I guess he hasn't been signed in a while, I don't think. But I think he's better than a lot of these younger guys who just got paid. And better. Well, we haven't seen what's going to happen with Lamar yet, but better than some of these guys. And he's going to command the money.
Too.
He's going to command the money, and that's how it usually goes. They wait for people to get signed. Then they're like, "Well, I'm better than this guy, so I need more money than this guy." And it's like, obviously, some of these other guys they lie saying that, but the son of Odin isn't going to lie when he says that. And it's going to be interesting to see how, because it's probably going to be, if they actually pay him a lot, it's going to be one of those probably 6-year, 10-year, maybe a Patrick Mahomes type thing. So I think his was 10 or something like that. Try and do it like baseball where they elongate it, but I guess we'll figure that out when we see.
No, and that's why I'm telling you, it's going to be interesting to see what the numbers end up being. And I mean, I guess to his credit, Tom's one of the best ones at figuring that out, and he's one of the best when it comes to structuring the contracts and everything in what's best for obviously the organization and everything and the team. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of wizardry he tries to do with that. Obviously when the time comes, but now the window's open and it'll be interesting. Also, I want to see if Joe Burrow, if the Bengals, that's going to be interesting. If the Bengals go and decide to give Joe Burrow an extension before the Chargers do, then that basically resets the market, and now the Chargers have to kind of be right there. I don't think Tua gets a contract extension from the Dolphins this offseason. I think they're going to wait him out.
You have to.
So especially with everything's going going on.
You have to, because you don't know.
That'll be interesting. But here's what Tom Telesco had to say when asked what he is looking for in a offensive coordinator. Here's what he had to say.
Traits that you would like to see hired in a coordinator.
The one thing we always talk about has nothing to do with X's and O's. It's leadership, and which is what Joe Lombardi has, leadership. That was great. I mean, you got to have that as a coach, certainly as a coordinator, because you're leading that group. That's the first thing we look at is leadership, and the ability to teach and communicate, and those both go together. You're dealing with a lot of players. Everybody learns differently, so we have to treat them all differently, but be able to really teach the concepts, in a simple manner. There's a lot that goes into it. Those are two things. I like to look at their backgrounds of where they're from, who they've learned from, things like that. So.
And the other thing is Brian Leftwich and Greg Roman, right? Greg Roman's his name.
Yeah.
They're both, looking for new teams. So in the comments, why don't you just let us know who you would like to see, or if you guys have any idea who you would like to see. And also check out that link to get awesome little drips and the drops from Homage in the description, dude. Shout out to Homage.
Obviously Frank Reich, Greg Roman, and Byron Leftwich are probably going to be the big names out there.
Yeah,
I honestly think that Brandon's going to go with somebody that he either knows or there's a connection. There's always a connection with Brandon. So I'm interested to see what the connection is going to be here. Well, I mean, that's just literally what they do. I mean, that's what I've seen with everything. With everything, there's a connection when it comes to him. So like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's.
And let's be real too. That's how a lot of the hiring happens. When you coach, because you got to have people you can trust and everything. Oh.
Well, look at Anthony Lynn. He's now with the 49ers.
Yeah.
And Kyle Shanahan is the head coach. His dad used to be the head coach of Anthony Lynn. So obviously, it like sometimes life comes full circle in the NFL, especially with some of that stuff. So yeah, it's very interesting to see. But yeah, to me, it's Frank Reich, and I feel like Frank Reich would be the best one for it. Still, even though Greg Roman and Byron Leftwich are out there, I just think that Frank Reich, I'm telling you, I remember Philip said it. He's like, Frank has really helped me with my footwork. He's helped me with some other stuff. So he helped him grow as a quarterback. And especially because Philip had gotten a little sloppy with his game. So obviously I remember that 2013 years when he won comeback player of the year. He had put up some big numbers under Ken Winston. They went to the playoffs. Obviously they beat Cincinnati and they lost to Denver in a very close game. They should have came back, but once what was it? Manti Te'o got taken out of the game by somebody.
Yeah,
and then
wasn't it Jaleel Addae?
Oh yeah. He hit him in the back.
Yeah,
he took him out. And then Brom Bird had to come in.
Guess what happened?
And he had to cover Julius Thomas. Yeah.
Guess what happens this playoff game? That's 1 for Dan and Diego, 0 for Roberto. History matters.
Yeah. So definitely going to be interesting to see who the Chargers at the end decide. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, if it was a first-year signal caller too, and I mean that's kind of been the MO of the way this team is. It's a lot younger than it is older, but I still think you need a veteran voice in there. I think a Frank Reich would be perfect.
Yeah.
But obviously there's other candidates out there, but I just wouldn't be surprised if they went with a first-year signal caller or something different. But it's funny because Tom said, "Oh, Joe Lombardi had that quality." Then why'd you fire him if he had the like?
Thank you for bringing that up.
I thought that was interesting.
Bringing that up. They use those buzzwords to try and make the firing, I guess. Don't. No, I'm trying to use a saying, but that it's too crude. I'm going to save that one. Don't it's just they're trying to smooth it over too much, and it's like, let's be real, dude. It is about the X's and O's. That's why this guy's not here anymore. It's like that's why, in my mind, if my decision to bring someone in was based off of only my connection to him, it's like now that I had to fire him, I'm like, okay, now I need to have a new process of bringing someone in because obviously that didn't work. And it's like that's my thing going into this, because like I told you last time, bad coordinators will get head coaches fired, period. Because where does the buck stop when it comes to, managing the team and on the field? It stops with the head coach because you hire your staff and everything else. And so I think that's why you have to get a guy who's, innovative, intelligent. I think the most important trait right now you have to get in an offensive coordinator is a person who's flexible, who understands that, if a Mike is down, if a Keenan is down, if an Austin is down, they understand how to use player skill sets and they can maximize them and elevate those players. because that's what I think the biggest flaw was in Joe Lombardi's offense. He didn't understand how to maximize everything from everyone. So when those guys went down, obviously they struggled.
No, I completely agree. And obviously to add to, well, I mean, now let's move on, I guess, to Tom again. So obviously we don't know what the cap is going to be for next offseason. It's not known yet because I think is it this year? No, next year the new TV deals start. I think maybe it's in 2 years. Whatever.
Well,
The cap is supposed to shoot up.
Though.
No. When the TV deals are like the TV deals, I'm talking about Fox, CBS,
Yeah.
ESPN. When those are up, usually the cap space kind of jumps up a little bit. I don't know what the cap is going to be this year, but it's Keenan Allen. I think Keenan now, if the Chargers release Keenan, I don't think they'd owe him anything or they'd owe him a small. I can't remember what it is completely, but Tom was asked if maybe it would be tempting to cut Keenan Allen and save some of that money. Again, I didn't ask this, I didn't say this, but this is what Tom had to say about if he's tempted at all to cut Keenan Allen to save that money.
50-50, I wouldn't want to be. I just think this is a passing league overall. But yeah.
Whoops, that's not
you did that on purpose. You did that on purpose to get me worked up again about running the football. You know what was Marty Schottenheimer's favorite play for Al?
Marty Schottenheimer was like 10 years ago.
Excuse me, sir. That is not the point. That's why the last time our running game was dominant. His favorite run play was power. You know why? Because it is north and south, and it is damn physical, punching it down their throats.
It's not tempting to me. I mean, good players make money. I mean, I'd rather have a lot of good players on our roster than a lot of cap space.
But why?
So I just thought that was an interesting quote.
Why did he say under
because
the cap? Are they over the cap?
Let me check what they're at. Let me see.
Yeah, that's interesting to me though, because I mean, obviously, I don't know. It's just a bunch of stuff, right? Because some good players walked last year, I guess.
Oh, because they're 19 million under the cap.
Oh, they're 19 under?
Yeah.
Oh, so to get further under the cap to free up some more stuff. Well, who knows what they're going to do with that?
They need to free up 19 million. I mean, I think if they cut.
Wait, they're 19 over or under?
Over.
Oh my God. I thought that's what he was good at, managing that stuff.
Joey Bosa's at 31 million. Khalil Mack 27 million.
Damn.
Keenan Allen 21. Mike Williams 19. J.C. Jackson 17. Corey Linsley 13. So that's where all your cap is going.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Where is it?
They're gonna have to figure it out.
They can cut Filer for 8.5. Well, I mean, they'll restructure. That's what they did last year. I don't know if you remember. They restructured
a few people. Yeah,
they restructured Khalil Mack's contract. Khalil Mack's contract last season because so I'm sure they'll try and do something like that this offseason. But I mean, the cap will probably be a lot better too as well.
I think he said in the question it's not updated yet what the cap will be.
Yeah, it's not. So, damn, Joey Bosa commands 13.6% of the cap.
Damn. Is he the highest?
Crazy. Yeah, he's the highest on the team. He's going to make $31 million next year.
Damn, 31?
Yeah.
Damn.
That's crazy.
As long as he's on the field, dude, it's all good.
Let's see. We're going to get through this kind of fast. Let's see what else. Well, yeah, but I mean, that's the thing is that they have to get under it and everything. You know, it's funny. I asked Telesco about Jamari, and he said that Jamari saved their season this year, and that he thinks that if Jamari wouldn't have stepped up, he's like, I don't know if we would have had a good season. So he really he spoke very highly of Jamari, and he said that he was a good player. And I asked him, well, do you think he's a starter? And then obviously in Telesco fashion, he's like, well, Rashawn Slater is obviously our starter. I'm like, whoa. I don't mean to take over for Rashawn.
Yeah,
I mean
obviously.
to take over at another spot. He's like, yeah, he's the only thing that they don't know yet is if he's a guard or they consider him a guard or a tackle. So that's going to be when they decide when they decide, that's going to be interesting because I want to see where they're
Yeah.
going to play. Because he said he played mostly at guard all of training camp, all of the
Yep.
offseason. He had
Yep.
played at guard, and all of a sudden we asked him to play left tackle, and it was the best decision we made. So,
Yep.
I mean, I think the Chargers have gotten a lot better at drafting offensive linemen. I know for a while they were terrible at it.
Oh
They've
my
gotten better at
God,
it
yeah.
the last few years.
Well, I
So
think
kudos
even
to them.
Foster was serviceable. Foster, right, or Forrest?
Foster.
Yeah,
Foster
Foster.
Sarah. Yeah.
Yeah, Foster was serviceable. I mean, it wasn't the best thing, but he was, a step up of what we've seen there
Yeah.
before. With the Storm Nortons and everybody, the Tevies and all this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
he was at least serviceable in that San Francisco game, and some other times he had to step in.
I agree. Now let's go to Telesco real quick and listen to what he had to say about Justin Herbert kind of going through adversity for this season because of all the turnover and everything. And oh wait, no, this isn't it. With
that's
Telesco
the
or
thing.
with go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, and that's the thing, the turnover and all that stuff. He hasn't had that continuity. Imagine how good the son of Odin would be if he had stability in the coach's room and everything else. He would be even higher than half of these other stooges, but half of the time he's having to learn new playbooks. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see who they hire and everything else.
He went through a lot more adversity this year compared to the first 2 years. You think that's a good teacher for him?
Well, adversity is a great teacher for anybody, and especially at that position. But his mentality, talking about mental toughness and how he handles situations. If you're a player in the huddle and you're looking at Justin Herbert, there's no fear in his eyes, there's no flinch, and that's what great leaders have. So sometimes it does take some development to get there, to kind of go through those different battles and those different wars and see the success that you can have. Yeah, I mean, that's the type of guy you want in your huddle.
No one doubts that the son of Odin is a dog. I wouldn't take anybody else, honestly.
And that's why I said, like, this year, like, Justin had to learn what it was like to be without those guys. Now, that's another reason why I keep on saying the Chargers need to upgrade the receiving core by about $1 million. Like, they need to, and I know the cap is obviously they're gonna have to do some wizardry with the cap, but I don't know about free agency. But as long like the draft, there's gonna be some speed receivers. There's gonna be guys that you could use. The Chargers really need to think outside the box this year because they're still stuck in the old style of maybe the old style of Phillip Rivers, Malcolm Floyd on one side, Vincent Jackson on the other. RIP, by the way, Vincent Jackson. Always a great dude. You need to that's the thing, you need to get faster, and that's kind of the MO. Like they're just so they don't have a guy that can take the top off. And I know people are gonna be like Jalen Guyton. I'm like, no, stop with that. No, Jalen Guyton, no, like he was okay, but you need somebody more consistent, somebody who really is gonna do a lot of damage, somebody who threatens. And I know they're not gonna be able to get Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle here, but if you do a good enough job scouting, you should be able to find somebody who's a blazing speed, who you're able to use, or somebody who can definitely help take your offense to that next level. Because I feel like that's what they're really missing. They're missing speed on their offense. And Josh Palmer, Keenan Allen, and Mike Williams, I feel like they're all they're from the same like spot or whatever. Like they're all pretty similar in receiver in a sense.
Yeah.
And you just need something different. Somebody who's gonna really take the top off. Somebody like in like in the Mighty Ducks.
Who's gonna get yacked? Who's gonna get yacked?
Exactly. So
yard after catch, dude.
So obviously when it's like you said, they need to be able to do something like that. And obviously when the offense doesn't have that that imp, that you need that special gear. It's somebody who you can literally dump it off to 15 yards, takes it 30 or 40 or 50 and takes it home. Like I mean, I don't know what you think. I that's what I kind of feel like
that's the thing that they're missing, because sometimes, in all honesty, most of the time someone will catch it and they'll get tackled right away. Most of the time when they
Yeah.
have open runs like that, it's more than anything because there's just that much open space. So they're missing that type of speed that can literally outrun anyone on the field and has the moves and the lightning and everything else that people are going to think twice about, that they're going to try and, get there fast. Like, remember how long it took for anyone to figure out how to cover Tyreek Hill because of that? Because Tyreek Hill would take a 2-yard gain when he caught it and take it 80 to the house. And it's like, that's the type of stuff.
But you know what you need, right?
What do I need?
You need a playmaker like this.
Oh my God.
To Goldberg.
Again.
Goaltender Goldberg. Wait, it's not Goldberg.
I love how much time this takes.
The goalie! Tyler with it. Tees up the puck. With the knuckle puck.
Hilarious. Exactly. You know what? That's a perfect
You
analogy.
need somebody with a knuckle puck, Dan. You need some the goalie. You need somebody who's going to freak out the opposing defense and the opposing coaching staff like that.
And is creative enough to move him around to goalie to catch the other team off guard.
That's what Gordon Bombay did.
Yeah.
Gordon Bombay was a genius, high IQ. He knew exactly what he was doing.
Whack.
Exactly. You need some innovative Gordon Bombay. You know what? Emilio Estevez, come out of retirement, come over. They want to hire you. You're the next offensive coordinator of the Chargers. Congratulations.
If we're going that far, we need to get Denzel. Maybe he'll be a good offensive coordinator.
I thought, oh no, yeah.
He was a head coach in high school.
What did he say in the movie? He's like, Coach, if you can't fix your defense, I'm gonna come over there and fix it for you.
Yeah. Got to be able to make that pitch. Be able to make that pitch. I love that movie. I don't care what Hilberto says, scumbag. I love that movie.
Last one. Dan, I really think Telesco and Brandon did not get enough credit for one thing. After the draft was over, they sat down. They analyzed, and I know some people are like, they don't want to give any positivity to these guys. I'm going to give them this positivity. They sat down, they analyzed the team, they thought, and they said, you know what? We're missing something. We're missing some things. Boom, Bryce Callahan. Boom, Kyle Van Noy. Boom, Morgan Fox. Boom, DeAndre Carter. All three guys three. It's late.
Now you're looking like me with those mathematics.
All four of those guys contributed to the team. Real quick before we get into it, Tom Telesco talks about them contributing and what they brought to the team.
It was hugely important. Like Kyle Van Noy, Foxy, and Callahan, and I'm sure we're missing DeAndre Carter. Those guys all played huge roles. And for some of them, like Kyle Van Noy, the vision of what we signed him for changed when Joey got hurt. And all of a sudden, he's going to play a lot more and play on the edge all the time. And what was cool about that is we get in December, and Kyle is now he's an impact defensive player for us. We already knew he was a great leader, and he was a tremendous leader and a great mentor for the players. But he was just really tremendous down the stretch for us. But that's when you talk about trying to add depth to the team. When Morgan Fox got let go from Carolina, it just didn't work out there. This is a great fit for him here. But those guys all made huge contributions for us. We had guys make contributions on special teams for us.
Are those guys all free agents?
Yes, they are.
Oh, good God.
So no, but I think they're going to try. I think they should bring back each one of those. I honestly was interesting. I wanted to see what Kyle Van Noy was going to look like in his linebacker hybrid role.
Because then obviously, you know what? My bad.
Go ahead.
No. You go. I cut you off.
Okay. I think it was really going to be interesting to see what Kyle Van Noy was going to look like. 2, I wanted to see what he would look like as maybe that other guy, that extra guy that came in to pass rush. So I'm interested to see what Kyle Van Noy is going to look like next year. I think Morgan Fox kind of came on at the end of the. Once they got rid of Jerry Tillery, it felt like he kind of came on as well, because Jerry Tillery was clogging up a spot where they had to keep on playing him, and they had to keep on playing him.
Unbelievable.
So obviously now that they don't have him, Morgan Fox was able to come in. I want to see what he would look like as not a backup, but like a guy who could come in and kind of be a depth piece. I really want
Yeah.
to see Morgan Fox next year. I think they should bring him back as well.
100%.
What did he have? He had 6.5 sacks, I think.
He was very productive, especially when you had a lot of guys go down at that very position. He was
6.5 sacks. That's a lot of production. 6.5 sacks is a lot of production. He had 38 tackles. So I'm definitely interested. I think those guys should come back. I think Bryce Callahan should be brought back as well. I think they could really use
a 1 year too. Yeah, he has to come back. Yeah.
So I'm interested to see. All right, before I give you your surprise, anything else you want to add?
Yeah, the only thing I was gonna say real quick, I would have that tells me him talking about his linebacker role and stuff like that. It was probably gonna be Drew and him in the middle right there, and Bosa.
But now Drew's a free agent, so it'll be interesting to see what
because it's like they say, you can't bring back everybody. But I think Morgan Fox, you got to bring back some of these guys unless there's a way you can for sure.
I would bring back the trio need to come back. I think
so, especially Bryce. Bryce does need to come back.
Well, Kyle was big at the end of the season. Kyle kind of got the defense rallied together, and I think Kyle could be a big
100%. And hopefully, 100%. He's a vet. He'll take a pay cut because he likes it here.
All right,
but real quick, last thing, wanted to give a quick shout out to Jesse Trejo, saying "What's up, Bolts?" and shouting us out. Shout out to you, Jesse Trejo. The other one is GB.
You go, Glenn Coco.
Appreciate the positivity and level-headed analysis. Shout out to you. We appreciate every single one of you, guys and gals. We absolutely love when you guys comment. So whatever your thoughts are, comment.
And it's not even raining positivity. It's exactly what I see. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I mean, whatever I see, I'm going to be honest. The person
said level-headed analysis. That's what they're getting at.
Well, I know. But I mean, that's what I mean. Like, and it's like fans are still angry, and I'm like, dude, well, Brandon's
it is
still
what it
here,
is.
so it's time to now analyze it like Brandon's time to analyze like Brandon's still here. Now move on. Let's start looking at what this is going to look like. Obviously, so definitely interesting. But all right, here we go, Dan. Let me see. Is there a?
Look at that. You're already going to the soundboard to try and piss me off.
No, there's no.
After I did your quack, you're going to try and do this to me?
I'm disappointed. There's no.
You already played that run clip twice and that hurt.
You know what this is called? Feeding the ducks. I don't like that.
Well, I was ready to.
Oh, no! We suck again!
You really want to just hurt my feelings this whole time.
No, I don't. All right. Here is I was looking for a drum roll, but I couldn't find one. All right, here are the opponents that you will be facing next season, Dan. At home, you will be facing the Denver Broncos, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, well, that's obvious.
The Raiders. Now, here we go, Dan. You will be facing the Buffalo Bills at home.
That's going to be a good game.
You will be facing the Miami Dolphins at home.
That's going to be
the Chicago Bears at home.
Not worried.
The Detroit Lions at home.
That is the game I want to get tickets to for
the Baltimore Ravens at home.
That doesn't worry me. They're not going to have
the Dallas Cowboys at home.
That doesn't worry me. They have Dak.
Now, Dan, guess what? You will be going on the road against the Denver Broncos, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Las Vegas Raiders. You will be heading to New England to be playing the New England Patriots, a team that hasn't made the playoffs in the last 3 years.
Here you go hating again. You're just going to ignore.
I'm just saying
20 years of dominance.
I didn't say anything. I just said they haven't made the playoffs.
I'm gonna say cap. I was about to drop a cap like the Youngins do today.
All of those 5 away games are so amazing. Then they go to the New York Jets. They go to Green Bay. They go to Minnesota.
They're not gonna have Aaron
Minnesota. And they go to Tennessee. Oh.
Tennessee's gonna be interesting. That's gonna be a tough game. It's a tough schedule. It's a tough schedule.
Your home schedule is very tough.
And you know what's the thing too? Like we
we
talked about last podcast.
I mean, you got the Patriots who haven't done anything. You have the Jets.
Here we go. Here we go.
You know what? I wonder if that's going to be Justin Herbert against Jordan Love.
That's what I'm saying. They're not. I don't think.
And then Ryan Tannehill's a free agent. I wonder if he'll still be there. And
they're going to get somebody else. They have to. I think that's where Aaron Rodgers should go, honestly. But
your home schedule is tough.
And you know what's the biggest problem, Frau? like we talked about last pod, there is no room for error this offseason. There is no room for error in this season, period, or there will be 2 vacant offices at the end of it. It's only going to get tougher from here, because the only good thing that comes out of a schedule like this is if you are worthy and you earn a ticket to the tournament, you're going to be tested. There is no more manure of we slid by on some taking on some pancake type teams, cupcake type teams. When you play a team like that, you have a winning record and you earn earn a spot in the tournament, you are seasoned and you are ready to go to make a serious run. Because I always hate those type of easy schedules. And you've heard me say this to use an analogy on soccer. When Madrid gets those hard teams before a final, that is the best thing for them, because when you play great competition before the final, it's better. You're better off than those teams who have the easier route, because then they don't understand how to face that same level of adversity and that same level of competition. So
I agree.
Definitely going to be interesting what they do. It is going to be tough, because in my mind, next season, you have to what's it called? Trade 1-for-1 with the Chiefs at least. Least. That alone is going to be a daunting test. That schedule wasn't in order, right? Of weeks?
No, sir. No.
Okay.
No, that the schedule won't come out till May.
Okay. So that's
So you
that,
don't know prime time.
that right there.
Oh,
has
you
to be
but you could go international. So the New England Patriots are playing in Germany. They're playing in Frankfurt, I believe. So that game might be in Germany.
What's up, boys, in the Deutschland?
That'd be
With
interesting.
some Lagers and some.
Would Gilberto be invited?
No, he's not. He's a stooge. Oh wait, no. You
All
said
right.
where's the game in Germany?
In Frankfurt, I think.
Damn it! Why couldn't it have been in Munich? Oh no.
Oh,
No. So
hold on,
yeah,
let me check real quick.
we could go catch a Munich game.
So they announced it. They announced it yesterday or today. Yesterday. The Chiefs and the Patriots will host games in Germany. The Bills, the Titans, and so the Chargers could literally either play in London because they play the Titans, or play in the Deutschland because of the Chiefs and the Patriots.
London,
so literally,
baby!
they have almost what is this 50-50 basically almost a 50-50
in the comments also let us know where you would rather see him play, in Germany or in London.
I don't remember.
Maybe London might be still a sore spot from that one story that leaked.
Where
would you rather where if you had to travel to one of those, where would you rather
Germany
go
yeah. All right. We appreciate you guys so much for checking out this show. This has been 2 episodes in a row. You guys asked for it. We gave it to you. You guys wanted Brandon Staley's press conference. You guys wanted Tom Telesco's. We've given you the analysis of both. We've broken it down. Again, we appreciate you guys for checking it out. Yeah, What's Up Bolts not going anywhere. We will be here. We're waiting to see who the offensive coordinator is of the Chargers. And as soon as that happens, maybe we might take a little bit of a break. We don't know yet. It's just depending on what happens. And then obviously we have a surprise. Obviously we have some news, but we will be sharing it. I don't know. I think Gilberto said no. I think we agreed we're going to share it this upcoming week on COMPAS on the Beat. So be sure to check out COMPAS on the Beat, the regular episode this upcoming week. We will have all the things. We will have we have our news. So it definitely will be exciting news. I hope you guys check it out. And don't forget to check out everything else. We got COMPAS on the Beat. We got COMPAS FC. We got Combat COMPAS is coming back. And then obviously House of Horns, Vic and or Gilbert and Vic gave their end of the season kind of spiel on everything Rams. So obviously, and McVay coming back. They had a thing on McVay coming back. So that'll be interesting as well for you guys to check out. But we appreciate you guys so much for checking out another episode of What's Up Bolts. If there's something,
try that again.
Another episode of What's Up Bolts.
Let's
We
go.
appreciate you guys obviously checking it out. Like, subscribe, comment. We appreciate you guys
Smash
so
the
much.
like button.
Don't forget, be a compa, tell a compa. Thank you guys so much, and have a great divisional round weekend.